Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and this right here is Tom Clark's Main Event. Ho, 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 kids! What's up? Spreading Christmas cheer for all to hear. That's me, baby. You know it's on when I got the Santa hat. You know business is about to pick up when Tom puts on the Santa hat. That's right, baby. It's time. Ho, ho, ho. Happy Yuletide to you. That's right. We're not going live next week. This is the Christmas episode. I'm not going live with the podcast on Christmas Day. We've all got family to see. Hopefully that you guys can get out there and at least very small get-togethers. Yes, immediate family only. Be safe. Be smart. But yeah, man, it's all about doing it this week. We'll get more into that later as the show goes on. How the heck are you? Happy Friday to you, one and all. I'm Tom. This is my show. This is episode number 206. And yes, it's the Christmas episode. You see here, Merry Christmas. Okay. So there you go. I wanted to add some sleigh bells to the music. I ran out of time. It's been an insanely busy week for yours truly. Lots to do, but it's all good, baby. Lots to talk about this week. Let's get the ticker ticking. There she is. Tom Clark's Main Event, episode number 206. And just a friendly reminder, we're not just on the Facebook. The show is available for download right now on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and yes, the YouTube. There you go. And yes, we go live most every Friday right here on the Wrestling Rumors Facebook Live. Let's get some hellos out the way. Sandy in Germany is first to the party today. Welcome to the Christmas party, Sandy. Did you bring the cookies? It was your job to bring the cookies. I can't think of everything. I've been prepping all morning, man. We got Christmas at my mom's later today. So a couple or 2 or 3 hours after the show here. So there you go. Sugar Shane Odom in the house. What's up, brother? Thank you for hanging out as always. Carlos Martinez. What's up, my friend? Christmas Carlos Martinez. What's going on? Christopher Sims. I'm going to start giving everybody nicknames. Candy Cane Christopher Sims. I don't know why I said that. I was looking for the C words. Carlos says hot garbage. We just got started. Shannon, my inspiration for buttons. Shannon, you're the button inspiration here on the show. So everyone, if you get tired of buttons, you got one person to blame. It's Shannon. It's all Shannon. Shannon, this is for you. You're welcome. I made her laugh. Gary, what's up, brother? I'm sorry I haven't answered you, man. It's been an insane week for yours truly. But I got the hat. And it's Christmas. And it's all good on my end. I hope you're doing well, dude. Everybody say hello to HVW owner and promoter, Mr. Gary Benfield. Ray, what's up, baby? Hope you're doing great, my friend. Merry Christmas to you, Chris. I just missed a big one. Brendan, what's going on? Santa Tom make Cameron Grimes win the Rumble, be the best wrestler of all time. Well, I can't make him be the best wrestler of all time, Brandon. I can't make him that because he already is. What does Cameron have to say about that?
I'm going to the moon!
To the moon, baby! Oh my God, I can't get enough of that. I'm going to just fill the whole thing up with buttons. The whole show is just going to be blurbs. It's just going to be sound bites and sound effects. I hope you guys are down for that because I'm going to make that crap happen. What's up, Michael? Belinda, what's going on, my friend? James, what's going on? Hey, Mark, what's up? Tanisha, welcome back to the show, my dear. Thank you for watching. Timothy Gonzalez, does it creep you out when older guys say my dear? I catch myself doing that sometimes. It's really weird. Like, I don't make a habit of it. Sometimes it just comes out. It's really weird, isn't it? Like, I look at older dudes and I'm like, God, I'm kind of getting to be an older dude now. It's all right, though. I'm still young. I got the pops. I got the tech. I got the hat. I mean, come on. I'm not so old that it's that creepy. Someone tell me I'm right. Timothy, what's up in San Antonio, Tejas? Welcome to the show, my friend. Merry Christmas. It's Christmas, Jim. I appreciate the effort, however. What's up, Mark? What's going on? Where'd you go? Shannon says we never get tired of the buttons. Good thing, because it's all your fault. In Ireland, what's going on? Man, I would try to pronounce your name, but I would butcher it. It's Pronesius. Pronesius? Don and NC, what's up, bro? Same here, my friend. Happy holidays to you, Mark. Yes, yes. Christopher is asking for something. You know what he's asking for?
Woo!
Oh, my God. I love it so much. You're so welcome. Merry Christmas. All right, kids. Oh, Tanisha, what's going on? She says, hey, just graduate college. That's why I haven't been on. Hey, it's all good. Go get your education. I did pronounce that right? I didn't go to college. Says the big bearded dude in the Santa hat. I went to some college. I didn't go to all of college. Moving on. I'm encouraging my kid to go to college, as we all know. Nathan and I, big Nate dog, somewhere lurking around, hopefully, my producer, great friend, has been counseling me on what to do with the boy. The boy right now is at the neighbor's house. So there you go. Dennis says, Merry Xmas, Tom, for my family in New Brunswick. Dennis, to you and your family, my friend, thank you very much. A huge main event shout out and Merry Christmas to Dennis, to you and yours. David and Down Under, what's up, bro? Merry Christmas and hello in Australia, David Down Under. Hey, what's going on? All right, we got big show. We got holiday cheer to spread. Yuletide wishes to send. That's what we're doing. Shut up. It's important. So let's get to this, shall we? Keith Lee to the PC. We got a big show. We're going to fly through some of this stuff, baby, so don't get too wrapped up in anything here. Before everybody gets upset, let's get a few things straight right off the bat. Keith Lee is a phenomenal talent. I think we all know that. But we all also know this. From the second that Keith Lee was brought up from NXT, we told you. I told you. I didn't have the Santa hat on when I told you. But we all told you. We all agreed. This could become a train wreck. Do you want to know why? Because when people get called from NXT, sometimes it's not working. And it's not working for a multitude of reasons. One, it just doesn't work. It's not a good fit. They can't, conform to what the old man wants on the main roster. And some of the time, it's all that stuff combined. I think that's what we're seeing with Keith Lee. I listened a little bit to Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer both giving their takes on Busted Open this week. I highly endorse the show. I enjoy listening to it. Bully Ray's thing is like, look, you could take this one of many ways, but one of the ways that he said you could take it is that Vince sees enough in this guy to get him some more work. There's nothing wrong with that. But what do you guys think? I'm not here to just tell you what I think. I'm here to get your input as well. Mark says, do you think he's being punished? I don't think he's being punished. I think that they see something in him and they want him to get, I don't want to say get better. They want him to adapt to what they want on the main roster. Elvis, thank you, my friend. Merry Christmas to you and yours as well. Christmas is also Lana Day. Well, God help us all. Michael, same to you, my friend. No, it's not his ring work, Mark. Supposedly, he is not what Vince, the scuttlebutt right now is that he's not the main event material that maybe Vince was led to believe that he was. Now, listen, if you think that Vincent Katie McMahon is sitting around watching AEW Dynamite, you've lost your mind. If you think he's watching New Japan, you've lost your mind. However, even though people say that, and I do too, you don't really know what Vince is doing, do you? How do you know that he's not? You see what I'm saying? I mean, I guess we'll never know. But safe money is that he's not. So maybe he didn't even know what he had with Keith Lee before he got him on the main roster. Keith can do a whole bunch of incredible stuff, But here's one of the issues as it was pointed out on Busted Up, and I hate to just throw talking points at you, but I highly agree with this. Okay, it's just how I come down on it. Who's he going to do all this stuff with? Can't do it with Dijakovic, because now he's like whatever they're calling him in Retribution. Duh, right? Terrible. And he can't work Dijakovic forever, right? So who's he going to do this stuff with? Well, Roman Reigns, Tom. Okay. Drew McIntyre. Okay. But you're asking this guy to go from NXT to main event, WrestleMania main event. I just don't think it's going to happen. I like Keith a lot. I think he brings something new to the table, something different. He's unique. He's special. He's a very special talent. You guys know this. We all know this. Yes. There's hope for him. There's always hope. The only time there's not hope for you in WWE is when you're out of WWE. Eric says, I'm out of work as a bartender. Get to catch your podcast again every Friday. Hey, Eric, brother, I hope you land on your feet soon. All the best to you, my friend. Hang in there. Be strong, man. I know it's not easy. Jim says, I've heard all takes from both sides, but my major question is, if that's the case, then why'd you call? Excellent question, Jim. Jim's like, why'd you even call him up from NXT if all things being fair? Jim, you're right. I got one answer. Vince McMahon. He didn't know. I guess. And when he called him up, he didn't know. How do you not know? Jim, that's another question, and a great question as well. Chris says, honestly, I never really liked Keith Lee, so I feel he didn't deserve to be called up, and doing Dijak matches was good because Dijak should have. Well, that's your opinion, Chris. Go with God. I don't know how I feel anymore about deserve to be called up. I mean, is it you're getting deserved, or it's like, oh, I got to go to the main roster, dude. I mean, the money's going to be substantially better, I would think. I would hope, at least, right? But deserve it? Look how many times these guys get called up, and it's like, blah. All right. Mac. Guess what? You're Mac. NXT talents can steal shows, or NXT has reasons, events why they don't make it on main roster. It is what it is. It is what it is. Let's move along here, kids. Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. Kenny Omega is going to appear on Impact again. This will be 3 weeks in a row coming up. This thing's getting real with Impact. As we know, Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers versus Motor City Machine Guns and Impact World Heavyweight Champion Rich Swann at Hard to Kill January, right? Going to be a good show. I haven't bought an Impact pay-per-view since it was TNA. That's the truth. I've told you guys here on the pod so many times before over the years, and it bears repeating. I don't wish ill will on any professional wrestling company. I want any viable pro wrestling company that's trying to do it the right way and pay respect to the business and trying to employ the best talents and do justice to the business of professional wrestling, to the industry as a whole. I want those companies to succeed. I don't much care for the companies that make a joke of it, make a mockery of it, and the promoter's getting money and no one else is getting paid, and they treat the talents like crap. I don't really care if that company makes it or not. I don't believe that's what Impact Wrestling is now. I believe that there is a concentrated effort from the ground up to make that company as successful as possible, and I want to see them flourish. I genuinely do, and I've said that before here on the pod, way before they ever hooked up with AEW. Okay, so having said all that, I think this thing with Kenny Omega is a good thing for the business, for both companies. That's what I think. Back to the Keith Lee thing. Brendan says, I agree with Bully Tom. Vince does see something in Keith. I agree with that. Totally. Mark says Rich Swann looks a whole lot better in the ring. He's had huge improvements. I agree with that. Chad says, is this a merger between AEW and Impact? What is that? To my knowledge, Chad, as far as we know, this is not a merger. This is two companies doing business together, and it's good for both companies. I really firmly believe that. People can say, well, it's better for Impact than it is for AEW, and I get that. I totally get that. But listen, AEW has something to gain from this, if nothing else, the Knockouts division, because their women's division and AEW Dynamite, and as a company as a whole, really needs some work. You guys know that. We talk about it all the time. Liam in Scotland. That's all I got. Aren't you happy? Merry Christmas to you and yours, my friend. Thank you. Shan says, that's exactly who I was talking about. How did you? Yeah, Shannon, you may be talking to somebody else. Maybe you are. Maybe you're talking to me. Wait. Oh, I see. All I'm saying is there's some others that should be sent back to the PC. Oh, I see. You and Mike. I get you. Nia Jax, yeah. Whew, don't get me started on that, baby. We'll be here all day. Will we get Omega versus Swan? Mark, I believe we will. I believe that we will. Do I think Omega will take the Impact World Heavyweight Championship? Yes, I believe he will. I believe that he will. I don't know when, and I don't have any backstage info for you. But, however, I do believe that it's going to happen. Brendan says, it reminds me when WCW did work with New Japan back in the day. Very much agreed. Yeah, for sure. Let's keep the show rolling. Did anyone catch CM Punk's comments on NXT and Pat McAfee on Twitter over the past, when was it? It's starting to bull up again. There was some noise made about it, and I follow Punk on Twitter, but I've been so busy the past few weeks that I kind of miss him. It's nothing to see here, kids. CM Punk is not on NXT. Don't take this the wrong way. I don't have a major scoop for you. Punk made comments about NXT and Pat McAfee and basically said, I'm paraphrasing here, kids. It should worry the talent. It should be an issue that the best promo in that company is Pat McAfee. And it wasn't like a backhanded compliment to Pat, I don't believe. He was just pointing out a fact that there's a lot of people on that brand, on that show, that can't really cut a promo the way Pat McAfee can. So I think it was sort of I guess if you want to call it a backhanded compliment, maybe you can. Maybe you can. Did anybody else see that? What did you think about it? Robert says, I saw Impact a couple months ago, and they're a different flavor of wrestling than WWE. They have room to improve, but a good company for another taste of wrestling. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Yes, Belinda, Cody is going to be a dad. It's going to change his life, baby. Mark says, you're saying title for title. Yes, sir, I believe it will. And I believe that Kenny Omega will win the title from Rich Swann. That's just one guy's opinion, Jack. Mike says he disagrees with Punk's comment. Hey, take it, man. It's all cool though. And Jim says Punk wasn't wrong. Elvis, I've been done Christmas shopping for about a week now. Liam says Pat McAfee don't deserve to be on NXT. I love the varying opinions. I love the good and bad of this, man. This is fun stuff. This is one of the reasons why I do the show. I like to get input. I like to get the fans' thoughts and feelings. And I had a English teacher one time he always used the phrase, questions, comments, words of wisdom. I stole it. I make no apologies for it. I plagiarized it from him. I've been using it for years. Jeffrey says he's not wrong. Jamil says he wasn't wrong. Mark says, I'm surprised Tony Khan didn't sign CM Punk. Mark, if you believe anything you hear, it wasn't for lack of trying. The deal was offered. Offers were made. Punk politely said no. So there you go. The Bucks supposedly went after and made him a cash money deal. Supposedly, not quoting anybody here, kids. I'm just telling you what I heard. So, whether or not that's true, and that was from the Bucks themselves when they talked about it. So, Jeffrey says, I like Pat on NXT. There you go. Again, varying opinions, varying different things to talk about. I like this. Let's jump into the main roster show, shall we, kids? 3 Smackdown takeaways of the week. We talk about this every single week, and every single week you guys are like, Tom, my God, enough with Owens and Roman. Guess what? I can't do it. Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens are solid freaking gold. They're solid gold, man. Everything they do. The inclusion of Jey Uso in this storyline, giving his character more legs than he's ever had. Ever. It's gold. I don't know what more to tell you. This has got to be, from me, and I don't know if you could say of the year, because it's been this year's lasted 3 years, it feels like, right? But I would say for the latter half of 2020, this is the storyline of the year. For sure. Jim, back to McAfee, says McAfee deserves credit for the work he's been doing. I agree with that. Christopher says Reigns and Owens are money. I more than agree with that. Dennis with a hot take. The art of wrestling finishers of the past being used today is just another move is ticking me off. Language, Dennis. When HBK hit the super kick, it was normally over, but now we see every other move. And I am not, nor shall I, attempt to argue your point, because I agree wholeheartedly. Way too many finishers. And you guys have heard me talk about that on the show numerous times over the years. Way too many. When you see 20 finishers in a row and everybody kicks out, there's a problem there. And I agree with you. The super kick, the sweet chin music. Gentleman Chris Adams back in the day, super kick meant the end. No one kicked out of that. Now everybody kicks out. Super kick has replaced the lockup in some matches. It's terrible. I agree with you, Dennis. I'm not going to argue your point at all. Shane says Kevin Owens needs to bring Sami Zayn in to feud with her. I disagree, Kevin. Or excuse me, Shane. My apologies. Shane, with all due respect, I disagree. I think Kevin and Sami need to be kept as far away from each other as possible because you could always bring them back together anytime you want to, and it'll always work because they're great friends. They're brothers. They have chemistry. I think at this point in time, you keep these two guys as far away from each other as possible. That's my opinion. Michael says Roman Reigns has greatly improved over this year. Michael, yes, but maybe Roman had it in him for a long time, and we just didn't know it because he didn't have the right storyline. There's my take. Mike says, what do you think they're going to do about their horrible ratings? Who can they possibly bring in that's not a part-timer? In my opinion, nobody. They're just going to keep leaning back on the Attitude Era. My opinion. Mark says it's crazy. It seems like when we get a Strowman versus Goldberg, we knew that it was going to be a match of straight finishers with certain wrestlers. You know what match they will have. Yeah. And Mark, to your point, when it's aging veterans, no disrespect to Goldberg because I love that guy. You know what you're going to get, but you know what you were going to get when he was in his prime. Power moves, quick and out, finish, spear, jackhammer, pin. Jamil says super kick hasn't been a finisher in about 7 years. I totally agree. Totally agree. So there you go. Mickey says even the tombstone has been kicked out of. Good call. Yes, sir. Good call. Terrible. Second SmackDown takeaway of the week. Chad Gable, also known as Kurt Angle. Stay with me, kids. Don't nobody tell me, well, listen here, Tom, this freaking Kurt Angle is a Hall of Famer. Who you think you are? Blah, blah, blah. First of all, isn't it nice that it's no longer Shorty G? Yawn? Terrible. Oh, my God, so bad. But now they're calling him Gable like it's always been Gable. You notice his singlets lately? Looking familiar to you? The haircut, the whole nine. I'm not saying. Listen. You, listen. I'm not saying that somewhere at some point behind closed doors, someone in WWE Creative, one of the plethora of writers they have behind the scenes. I'm not saying that any one of them went to Vince and said, what do you think about making Chad Gable the next Kurt Angle? I'm not even saying that Vince said it. I'm not suggesting Triple H said or Stephanie anybody else. Don't take this out of context. What I'm saying is from where I'm sitting, it looks like they're molding this guy into Kurt Angle for this generation. And guess who has a problem with it? Not this guy. I love Chad Gable. I loved him since American Alpha. The guy can flat out go. He's crazy impressive. He's been earning his stripes. They saddled him with a crazy, stupid gimmick that they never should have done to him, trying to kill this kid, trying to kill him dead, okay? And it didn't work because he's still there. He's still kicking. He's still giving 110% every time he's on the mic, every time he's in the ring. So it didn't work. You didn't kill him, okay? So now he's going to do what he's doing. What he's doing now is so much better. The Alpha Academy, so much better. Shannon says, yesterday it was 2 years ago that Shane, Vince, Stephanie, Triple H stood in the ring and said, we haven't been doing a very good job for you. We're going to give you what you want. Still waiting. Shannon, Merry Christmas to you. You get the Tom Clark's main event no prize of the week. Put that comment back up. Has it been 2 years? Hoy vey. Watch this. Hoy vey. That's what I do. I had no idea it had been that long. Remember when they did that in the ring? Shannon, can I guess what you did when you saw that? Shannon, if you were sitting in the living room or in your bedroom, wherever it was you were watching the show, if you had somebody watching with you, let me guess. One or both of you went. Did you hear that? Because that's what I did. Because the minute it came out of their mouths, I'm like, that's the look too, isn't it? By the way, if you're just listening to the audio version of Tom Clark's main event, are you missing out? You're missing out on Tom's amazing facials. Watch, ready? Did you hear that? It's the truth, baby. It's the truth. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I really don't. Actually, I do.
Hot garbage.
It bears repeating.
Hot garbage.
God, that makes me happy. Just saying, man. I'm just saying. Mark says they're trying to give him a stable like Angle had. I mean, you obviously can't give him Charlie Haas, Shelton Benjamin, but you could definitely give him wrestling. Mark, I love the idea, but who in the world is close to Haas and Benjamin? No, I get what you're saying. When American Alpha should have been Team Angle 2 from the start. Jimmy, I'm okay. American Alpha was a good name. I'm totally fine with that. Jim says this is what they should have been doing the whole time with him. Totally agreed. Michael says, I think when ratings for for Raw and SmackDown got into the toilet is when they will have, where are you? To listen to the fans and constituents is when they will make serious changes. Michael, I'm going to disagree with you, my friend. Vince getting paid. Money. That company's getting paid, baby. Most profitable year in the history of that company. Most profitable quarter ever. Nah, they don't care. They're making money. They don't care what you think. Michael, if you don't know, now you know. They don't care what you think. They don't care what the dude in the Santa hat thinks. They don't care what none of us think. We can complain all day long. And used to be the mantra was, you complain, but you still watch, don't you? Lots of people not watching anymore. Some of them never again. It's impacting the ratings. You think Vince cares? I submit he does not. Am I in his head? No, I'm not. So I can't promise you or swear to anything I'm saying. It's just my take. Let's see. Dennis says going to the camera. I'm just landing on comments here. Shannon said, I'd like to see Gable on the main roster act like Timothy Thatcher, be a shooter. Well, have more personality. Gable's entirely capable of having personality and showing his character. I'm okay with that. Mark said, we all knew WWE was lying when they said they was going to give us what we want. I was like, yeah, you've said this before and Vince still ruins it. Yeah. So, all right. Third SmackDown takeaway of the week, Sami Zayn versus Big E. More of this right here. Sometimes we forget how good Sami Zayn is. Maybe not all of you. Maybe not me all the time, but sometimes. Okay. When you put that guy in the ring with someone he can be showcased with, it's usually a good day. Okay. Big E's, I'm not, as Tom said, Big E's championship material. He's going to be WrestleMania main event next year and win both titles. I didn't say that. Relax. But what I am saying is he's got tremendous potential to be a main event top guy. And everybody's talking about, well, I don't know, Tom. Give it time. If you don't see it now, you'll see it eventually. I think he is more than capable. Jeffrey with a great take. I will say this as a wrestling fan is exciting to have more than one choice of product to watch. I couldn't say it better, Jeffrey. You got Impact, you got AEW, you got WWE, you got New Japan. I mean, it's got Ring of Honor still kicking. God bless those guys, still kicking. Shannon says, same, Zayn is underrated. I agree with that. Jim says, I haven't watched Raw or SmackDown in months. I just keep up with clips and podcasts. I hear you, Jim. A lot of people are the same mindset. Cy Kempster says Sami Zayn is just annoying. Well, he's supposed to be annoying, right? King Will says, do you think that when Vince is gone, they will do better the same? We talked about this last week, Will. I don't know if you were on board the show or not, but I gave my take on that last week. I'm of the belief that the company will not stay in the McMahon family when the time comes that Vince is no longer with us. And I say that with all due respect. And again, I don't wish ill will upon anyone. Hopefully the guy will live to be 100 or better. So anyway, but that's just one guy's take. Jamel says, I love this Sammy outsmarting everyone for victories. I could not agree more. Al Brogan, what's up? It wasn't too long ago that WWE did promos and bullying, but now they have a roster full of bullies. I know it's only a show, but kids watching may think it's funny and may try it. I think there's some truth to what you say. I will hit you with the same thing you're going to get hit with probably by everybody watching and listening right now. If you don't like what your kids are watching, turn the TV. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just I'm playing devil's advocate to your point. I totally agree with what you're saying, okay? But the other point, the flip side of that coin is if you don't like what your kids are watching, turn the channel. It's just both sides, but I'm on your side, man. I agree with what you're saying. Mark says that promo the Heyman cut was perfect. That should be an eye opener for Big E. He was like, "Do you hear people mention Roman and the Shield?" No, he's like, "They should do the same for you." That was just great. I totally agree with that. I love it. Tim bringing up as well. Did anyone watch Paul Heyman? Yeah, it's great. It's great, man, because Paul Heyman could read the phone book. Toby, what's up, baby? Late but here, loving the Fiend versus Orton. We're getting to that. Trust me. Mike says Zayn has become stale to me. I don't know what it is about it, but when he came back, I find myself turning the channel. When he comes on, I just enjoy watching him. Mike, you're entitled to your viewpoint, my friend. Elvis says, can you play guitar? I don't play the guitar, Elvis. I play the bass. And the answer is no, I'm not going to play the bass for you. I need money first. That's a Ringo Starr quote for all you Beatles fans out there. And Nate gets that, if you heard it. So... let's get to the red brand, shall we, kids? We're already halfway through the show. Is that a say it or what? 3 Raw takeaways of the week. Matt Riddle.
Hot garbage.
My finger's hovering over the button. I mean, you guys can see. You see? See the button? I can't do it. It's got to be here.
Hot garbage.
How do I start? Matt Riddle is playing the hand he's been dealt. Matt Riddle, the controversy surrounding him. Now, here's where Tom speculates and postulates on what all this is about. This is the part where you go, is he for real? Nah, it's just me talking, okay? Take this or leave it. It's totally fine either way. Matt got in all that controversy, whether he did something wrong or not for me to judge because I don't know the facts. You know, all the stuff that he was into and got himself into over the past couple of years, whatever it's been now, okay? All the stuff going on around about him. WWE kept him employed, kept him there. In my humble opinion, this whole goofy Riddle character is to try to dispel all that heinous stuff, to not make you forget it, but make you look past it. So that now what you're talking about with Riddle is, God, this character's dumb. You're no longer talking about the guy that was in hot water over something he may have done that was really awful. And I'm not going to get into the specifics of it. Again, not my business. That's just my take. I will say this. Riddle is doing, again, as I said just now, Riddle is playing the hand he's been dealt. He's doing 100% of what he can possibly do to make this thing work. I, like a lot of people, feel that his character in 2020 is
hot garbage.
It's just my take, kids. You can take that or you can leave it. Okay. And I know that's not fair. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Toby says didn't like NXT Riddle, but Raw Riddle, there's a tough one, is unwatchable. Yeah. Ricardo says the clueless stoner angle is wearing thin with Riddle. Mike says the bro gimmick has got to go. Repackage him and have him come back as a bad aid that destroys everyone's path. Language, Mike. Jim says you could just keep hitting the hot garbage button for the whole Riddle segment. Mark says, you and Jamil are talking. There you go. Cool. Listen, I don't know why WWE. We were just talking about all the money that they're sitting on a big pile of cash, and Vince lights his cigars with $1,000 bills. Do they make $1,000 bills? Someone tell me. I think they do. Anyways, I get that, and I know this is contradicting what I just said. It does surprise me at times that they really don't care what you think. I mean, no one on the ticker had something positive to say about Matt Riddle. No one. I know it's just there's like 40 people here hanging out. I get it. I totally get it. I understand. We're 40 people. Well, 41, right? Whatever it is. I get it. It's this small microcosm. But expand on that. Do the math and increase your numbers. How many people don't care for this? No, Mike, they're not censoring. I am, my friend. I just don't want to put language up on the channel. This isn't my Facebook page right now. This is Wrestling Rumors, so I'm just trying to be as professional as I can be. I mean, I've been known to curse like a sailor in real life, but I'm not doing that here. It's all good, baby. No worries. Mark says Riddle got amazing in-ring work, but his gimmick kills him completely. I agree. Jamel says, I smoked for decades. I've never been that way. Thank you so much for that, because I've never really had anybody say that. I'm straight edge. I've never touched alcohol in my entire life. I've never touched any drugs of any kind, weed or anything else. The only drugs I've ever had in my system was painkillers from an injury or something. Never had alcohol except for NyQuil because I was sick. Rest time straight edge. So I wouldn't know what to compare it to, the way Riddle's acting. You know what I mean? Fast Times at Ridgemont High, basically. Michael says because of all the controversy about him on the internet, is they're trying to revamp his persona to make him more. I agree, Michael. I totally agree. What's up, Chris? Chris loves the hat. Chris loves the hat. You know what I had to say to that? Christopher, that's for you, my friend. Ho, 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 and a Merry Christmas. Elvis says, I know it's early, but my predictions for the Rumble will be Lashley, Jinder if he returns, Triple H, or Brock. That's interesting. I got a prediction for the Rumble winner.
Cameron Grimes.
Not really. Relax. Everybody relax. Let's move on. The second Raw takeaway, the nightmare before TLC. Can I just go ahead and do this?
Hot garbage.
Sorry, I like The Miz. I like John Morrison. I love AJ Styles. They're not riding Raw for me. Okay? They're not riding Raw for me. They're not riding Raw for pro wrestling fans. And the quicker we understand that, the better we're going to be and the happier we'll be. Raw is not written for professional wrestling fans. Raw is written for mainstream. It's written from an aspect of entertainment, not of pro wrestling. They put a 20x20 on TV, and they have dudes in there wrestling, but it's not a pro wrestling show. This is why I don't scream and yell about how I think Raw is crap. I hit a hot garbage button, and I make light of it, and I joke, and we all go, ha ha, Tom's buttons are awesome. And they are. But the truth is, I know what's up. You should know what's up by now. We should all know what's up by now, folks. It is what it is. Raw's not a pro wrestling show. You could argue that NXT is no longer a professional wrestling show either. They used to be. I don't feel that they are now. Once you understand that, you will no longer get upset. You'll no longer get upset. Ricardo says Raw is written for Vince. Ricardo says Raw is written for Vince. Ricardo says Raw is written for Vince. Thank you, Ricardo. Aaron says Raw is hard garbage. Mark says you can't blame AJ. He's dealing with the cards he has dealt. We all knew that AJ was going to be a top. Mark, I'm not blaming AJ. I know you're not. Neither am I. Mike says Raw and SmackDown should be taking everybody. It wouldn't matter, Mike. As long as Vince is kicking, it wouldn't matter. He can't hand the show. He won't hand the shows to Hunter. And if he did, he would never get his hands out of it. It wouldn't make a difference. Elvis says WWE needs less pay-per-views. Get rid of TLC, Money in the Bank, Clash of Champions, Hell in a Cell. Make WWE great. Oh, Elvis, don't quote that, for goodness sake. Shannon says, if you want pro wrestling, watch New Japan. Right there. Guess what you get for that, Shannon?
Woo!
God, I love that button. That button makes me so happy. It makes my heart happy inside. All WWE shows are not pro wrestling shows. I agree, Jim. Toby says, Tom, my brother, once we realized the good old 80s NWA wasn't coming back and WWE was just either. Yeah, you're right. And honestly, dude, I used to be one of those guys who sat there watching Raw or SmackDown with his arms folded going, this is garbage. This is nonsense. Again, I hit a button. I make light of it. We all have a ha-ha. But, dude, I'm not losing sleep over this. I don't want you guys to either. Listen, this too shall pass. I take a very zen attitude to most things in my life in 2020. This too shall pass. I'm just telling you like I see it. It's my own mantra. I wrote it. You can't have it. I'm kidding. I didn't write it. Mark says, why is Miz and Morrison a part of the storyline anyway? I feel there's just because they have no creative direction. I would think you're probably right. I would think that you're probably right. Third takeaway from Raw. Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, Randy Orton, and Fire. Where are my Beavis and Butthead fans at? Fire. I'm going to break the hot garbage button. You guys should know this by now. I like everyone in this angle. I've always liked Bray. I've been a staunch supporter of Bray since he was in NXT. I've had this guy's back for years. I have this guy's back now. I got a chance to interview Randy Orton. You guys know that. I appreciate and respect Randy Orton. I have no issue and take no issue with either man. Let's be clear. I do not. Not today and not then. Okay? I just don't care for this angle. It's not doing anything for me. Someone earlier said they were loving it. And you know what? If that's your opinion, go with God. Go with God. Jim says, I wouldn't be surprised when Vince is gone. He doesn't leave the company to anybody. He doesn't let Triple H's. I agree. They will handle it like a business because that's what it is. It's only a fire match because Randy burned his house down a couple. No, I get it, Mark. They're connecting the dots. I get it. But, dude, he put a grown man in a box and set it on fire. And then that grown man appeared behind him in another costume. Listen, look at my face. Does this look like concern? Nope. This is indifference. Because I'm indifferent to it, because I don't care. It's all good. Just because I get what they're doing doesn't mean I have to be a fan of it. Let's all agree on that. Okay? Mark says it seems like they didn't even try. I agree wholeheartedly. Toby says, love the Fiend and Randy both, but the fire segment was too much. I define what too much is in WWE, man. Let's talk about ratings, kids. Last week, the Blue Brand, 2.20 million. Last week, 2.13 million. This week, 2.20. On the rise. That's a good thing, right? Last week, Raw, not so much, 1.74, down to 1.52. I think this is the lowest rated Raw in the history of the program, I believe. Yikes. I show you the ratings. I let you discuss it, and I'll let you guys tell me if you care or not. Some of you do, a lot of you don't, and it's all good to me, whatever you want. By the way, I've been doing this entire show with crap headphones. I got a new pair ordered, should be here Monday, but I'll have them for another whole week before I see you cats again. So, yeah. Raw's a mess. It's a train wreck. We know this. Aaron says it's like WWE is not trying anymore. They're just like take it or leave it attitude. Yeah, Aaron, totally right, man. Totally right. Timothy says Smackdown's on FS1 tonight. So I imagine the ratings will not be that good. TG. Tim Go. You know how people like shorten last names and stuff? Isn't that weird? So lazy. I don't know why I did that. Jim says Bray and Orton have never had any chemistry other than when they were a tag team. Hey, to each his own, man. I can't say I totally agree with you, but I respect where you're coming from. Yeah. So anyway, there's your ratings, kids. You decide what you think. Here's what I think. Let's talk about a little bit of AEW. Sting gonna work Cody. Remember how I was saying like 3 weeks ago when Sting first showed up that I was like, listen, Sting signed a multi-year contract. Doesn't mean he's going to wrestle. I kind of think he's going to wrestle now. They're really putting over the fact that when Cody's on TV, Sting's on TV. They're kind of really putting that over. I think Sting's going to work another match, and I think it'll be against Cody. And I think this might be his last one. Now, am I right? Time will tell. Am I wrong? Time will tell. We'll see. That's just what I think. And you can take that or you can leave it. Mark says, I'm surprised we never got Demon King versus The Fiend, which they can use at any time, by the way, and it will totally work. Mike Randy says, part of their problem is Kevin Dunn and Bruce Pritchard keep blowing smoke up Vince's backside. Thanks for that word, Mike. And they think everything that they write for the wrestlers is gold, when more than half of what it is written is more than half of it written.
Hot garbage.
I agree. Mike, too many yes men. What did Punk call them? Glad handling yes men? I know. I got worked on that. I get it. Dennis says Jericho's at a point in his career where he needs to wrestle with his shirt on. Woo! Jericho's not your biggest fan, Dan. Same. Dennis, look, Jericho's proud of his body. He's posed shirtless on Twitter talking about, look at me and my age. Come on, baby. He disagrees with you. Jamel says, how hot was FTR's promo? Insanely hot. Insanely. It was very good. Carter says in Tony's voice, it's Sting. Excellent. Sugar Shane says, I miss old school wrestling when it was all about fighting for the World Heavyweight Championship and the feuds looked real. Shane, you and I have lamented this fact before, my friend. We're both old school cats. But Shane, you and I both know those days are over. You get it now in small doses. If you want as much as you can get from it, you know what company to watch. That's New Japan, where the titles are extremely important. The feuds mean something. The matches, there's circumstances, and there's, repercussions for almost every match that takes place. Almost. That's old school wrestling at its finest. Old school wrestling at its finest. Dennis says, I love Jericho, but man, he looks way out of shape. Speaking of way out of shape, I only lost 1 pound last week. I'm disgusted with myself, and I didn't cheat at all. I've been behaving. I'm a good kid. If Cody is the last match for Sting, I don't know how I feel about it. It seems like he needs a bigger name. There's not a lot of bigger names in AEW than Cody, to your point, and I get where you're coming from, but he's done. Sting's last ride in the business is going to be in AEW. Now, I could be wrong, right? I've been wrong before, but I feel like this is it. Do you know what I mean? And if so, let the guy get paid. People had a hard time. Like, let the guy get paid. What do you care? You know what I mean? Kyle O'Reilly headed to face Finn Balor. Finn Balor. You like that? I'm working on it. Not like all the time, just a little bit of the time. Kyle O'Reilly, you threw everything you had at me and you lost. You can't beat Finn Balor. Man, that's not bad, right? Not only do I sound like him, I'm so much better looking than he is. Finn, I love you. I tease. I joke. Toby says, am I alone in saying Ole and Arnie FTR? No chance, Toby. We all see that. Mark says Cody is a safe worker, so Sting should look great in this match. I agree. Rob says another company that gets it right. HV Dub. Thank you so much, Rob. Thank you much for that. Let's see. I get this all the time. Elvis says we need you as a rod for all. Elvis, as I've said many times in the past, bro, they don't want me. They couldn't afford me. It's a joke. They could probably afford me. I hear they got cash. Mike says Sting should pass the torch to Allen. Allen has grown on me a lot. And he may do so. There could be 2 matches in his future. I don't know. Timothy says not bad. All right, guess what, kids? Ratings time. Then we go to the TLC preview, and then we're going to take it home. This week, AEW, 806,000, down big time from last week's 995. This week, NXT, where are you? There you are, 766, up from last week's 659. There's your ratings, folks. Let's get real quick to the TLC preview. Raw Tag Team Champions, The New Day versus The Hurt Business. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Asuka and Mystery Tag Team Partner. SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks versus Carmella. The Fiend versus Randy Orton Firefly Inferno match. Okay. A Universal Champion Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens Table, Ladders, and Chair match. And, of course, WWE Champion Drew Mack versus AJ Styles, also in a TLC match. There, kids, is your WWE TLC preview for this coming Sunday. Who's going to watch the show? Who's going to watch the show? Mark says Balor versus Walter is a dream match. Would love to see in NXT UK. NXT UK versus NXT champ, winner take all. Has Balor worked Walter before? I'll have to look that up. Shannon, you're becoming an all-star on my show. Shannon says Kyle O'Reilly doesn't get enough credit for or love. His match against Finn was great. I'm here for a second match. I'm totally with you on that. Finn Balor. God, I'm going to have to do that. That's going to become a button. Mike says more likely to be Charlotte, unfortunately. Let's see. Carlos says, in this week, AEW is going to start at 10 because of the NBA. Very true. I may stay up. Maybe. Aaron says, I'd like to see AEW move to Tuesday or Monday. They got the night that works for them. I wouldn't move. That's where you plant your feet in the ground and you say, no, you move. It's good stuff. You like that reference? You know that reference? Toby says, I love the Cross and Scarlet characters, but he's lacking in the ring. Interesting. Liam says, Asuka and Blanchard. Wouldn't that be something? That'd be crazy. Right? Then it says, I'll be watching Dynamite. Or TLC, yeah. Will says, I'll be tuning in to TLC. Mystery partner Charlotte, Toby says, you could very well be right. I'll watch AW live, but I'm West Coast living, Jamel says. I hear you. Shane says, out with the old Undisputed Era line with the way. Johnny Gargano is the man. Yep. I like Johnny a lot, man. I always have. All right, kids, guess what it's time for? It's the open floor before we take it home. Yours truly has been doing a lot of work this morning in the kitchen. Yes, we're going to have Christmas at my mom's house a couple hours after the show ends today. And it's like an hour drive up there. So it's going to take a little ways to get there. But it's going to be all good. I'll see my niece and nephew. Let's end with some Christmas stuff. I love the pro wrestling. You guys know I'm here for it. Let's end with some Christmas stuff. You guys, the 30 of you that are still hanging out, and thank you so much as always. Give me some Christmas stuff, man. Give me something good. Your Christmas memories, what you're going to be doing next week, what day you're going to be doing it on, who you're going to be celebrating with. Let's just hit it, man. Whatever you guys got for me for Christmas. Last year was a very difficult time for me. Last December, I lost my sister. It's last Saturday marked the 1 year anniversary. It's something I'm still working on. The family's still working on it. It's been tough. Last year, I sat in this chair with a Santa hat on like a week or two after it happened, and I attempted to give you a Christmas episode, and it was pretty awful. I haven't watched it back because it's probably pretty hard to watch. I'm doing a lot better, and I hope that you guys are doing really well. We all deal with loss. Some of you, for all I know, may have lost some folks to COVID this year from your family. My deepest condolences to you for whoever we've lost this year. 2020 has sucked. 2019 didn't end good for me at all, okay? 2020 has been hot garbage. And the good news is that we only have one way to go, and that's forward. You can't go back. You can't change what happened. You can't take the bad stuff back, and you can't fix it. The only thing you can do is move forward. And that's what we have to do. That's the good news. You can only move forward. Moving forward's good. Always forward. Forward always. That's all we can do, kids. And man, I soapbox. It's my show. It's not my Facebook page, but this is my show. Okay. Sometimes I like to Facebook or like to soapbox. Shannon, you're the best. Thank you for that. Thank you, Elvis. Thank you for that. Timothy says, I'm celebrating my family on Christmas Day. Very good. Awesome, man. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Mark's going to brighten it up. Can we get a Scarlet is amazingly hot button? I need someone to say that. Toby says you lost your son in December. Are you serious? Toby, my apologies, man. I did not know that. It's terrible, dude. I am so hard. Shannon says it's hard month. Yes, ma'am. You're totally right. Deepest condolences, Toby. Hang in there, bro. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate what you said. Shane, help me lighten it up, bro. Going to start tomorrow night watching my favorite Christmas movies, Die Hard Revolution. Dude, I've been watching Christmas movies for like 3 weeks. Ever since Thanksgiving. The man puts the tree up on November 1st. Y'all know that. If you don't know that, that means we're not friends on the Facebook. If we're not friends on the Facebook, you're doing life wrong because I'm fun. I got the hat on. What more do you want? God's sake. I got the hat on, man. Just saying. Dennis, thank you for hanging out, my friend. Happy holidays to you as well. Eva says, in the past 3 months, I've known 9 people who passed away, a few cousins, an aunt, and older friends. My best to you, Elvis. My best to you. Sandy says, can we get a Cameron Grimes? Yes, you can.
Cameron Grimes.
I'm here for you, bro. Liam says daughter's first birthday is on Christmas Eve. Liam, you see what I just said? Always forward, forward always. One thing ends, something else begins. That's the way of things. I'm starting to quote Yoda. That's the way of things, the way of the Force. Thank you, Mike. Mike, you might be talking to Toby as well. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate you. Robbie says, favorite Christmas one year, my niece wanted to write Santa about age 5. I helped her and mailed the letter. I saw her cry when Santa didn't reply. So next year, helped her write another one and then wrote a reply as Santa. And she was happy. That made my Christmas. Doesn't know this day I was Santa. She's in her 20s now. That's great. It's great. By the way, Santa would have written her back, Robbie. The letter probably got lost. It's nice that you stepped up, but you didn't have to. Thank you, Victor. Victor's getting some Santa emojis. Victor, you're the man, baby. Elvis says, I want Saturday night's main event to return when everything is back to normal. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? NBC perhaps again? Toby says, my Christmas highlight is mom's country breakfast. Biscuits, gravy, eggs, bacon, sausage. Oh, my God, dude. You know I'm on a diet, right? Stop. Shut up. You're killing me. Killing me. Shannon says, tell the boy we say Mary. I will, for sure. I'll tell him. He's got to be back at this house by 2. We got to get out here by 3. Actually, by 2:30. So, Mark is a massive scarlet mark. Mark, you're a scarlet mark. You should change your Facebook profile name to Scarlet Mark Gray. Somebody send Tom a Cameron Grimes Christmas ornament. Hey, I got a Cameron Grimes button. It's almost the same thing. Toby says, wishing all Merry Christmas, be safe, and enjoy your family. Thank you, Toby. I appreciate you, brother. You guys notice I brother it up. I didn't used to do that, but when I got back into wrestling business last year, and it lasted for 10 minutes, unfortunately, because we got shut down by the COVID stuff, the brother stuff started coming back like it never left. Insane. Mark says I might do a breakfast for dinner type of thing for Christmas. That's a great idea. We've done that for years. Timothy says, Merry Christmas from the biggest AW fan in here. Victor says, guess what Victor says? Merry Christmas. Woo! That's for you, Jack. Elvis says, we'll be back on New Year's Day. Let's look at the clock. New Year's Day. To be decided. To be decided. I will let you know. Thank you for asking, Elvis. Folks, we will not be here next Friday. Just so everybody knows. Christopher says, happy holidays. Tom, stay safe. Love to hanging out. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you for that. Merry Christmas in Germany, Sandy. Aaron says you need a brother button. You know, I'm thinking about getting like a Booker T. Like a button that says, tell me you didn't just say that. That would be nice, wouldn't it? I'd dig that. You know what? God, every time I go live now, people are like, you know what kind of button you need? I'm telling you, man, I'm going to have like a whole panel of buttons. I got this pad here that I've never used. There's a whole bunch of buttons on it. I'm just saying. Guess what, kids? We're taking this thing home. Remember, the show will not be seen next Friday. And immediately after this show, I'm not going to be previewing a new episode of the 6M because I'm not releasing an episode next week. It'll be the first time I've not released an episode for the 6M podcast. I released the Christmas episode of 6M. It is a watch-along of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I highly encourage you all to subscribe and download the show and watch the Christmas Vacation with this as the commentary track. You're going to love it. It's Troy Grant and I, and we had a blast doing it, and I hope you dig it. If you do not subscribe to the 6M podcast, you're doing life wrong, I promise you, okay? So, yes, next Tuesday I will post more links to the Christmas episode of the 6M pod. just to remind all you guys that it's there for you guys to go listen. So I appreciate it. Shane says, Merry Christmas, Tom, and put a whooping on I Am Righteous in January. Looking forward to 2021. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Mark wants to hear the hot garbage one more time.
Hot garbage.
It's all for you, man. There you go. Give us a broken hearty Merry Christmas to end it. A broken hearty Merry Christmas to end it? Oh, wow. Talking about delete? Thank you, Shannon. You're the best. Mark, yeah, man, you got to get the show downloaded, dude. You're going to enjoy that commentary track. I promise you. Hey, listen, if you're a nerd, guess what? No, I mean, I'm wearing the hat. It's a week before. I'm a nerd. Shut up. But I'm a festive nerd, yes? And I'm telling you, man, I wouldn't steer you wrong. I make the kind of podcast that I would want to listen to, and I'm a crazy big nerd. So if you appreciate crazy big nerd stuff, you're going to love the 6M podcast. Anybody that's listening to it, has listened to it in the past, listen or watching, listening right now or later, whatever, you're going to love it. I promise you. I promise you. Timothy says, you know what? I'm going to take all these suggestions to heart. Thank you, Jim. Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. Shannon, you brought us to the dance. You're taking us home, my dear. And where's he going, Shannon?
I'm going to the moon.
And guess what? I'm going to go to Mom's. It's Christmas. Thank you, Sandy. All right, baby. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. It means loads to me. We'll be back. It may be New Year's Day. It may not. I swear to you, I'll give you an update. I'll let you know on the Wrestling Rumors Facebook page and on my page as well. So if we're not friends on the Facebook page, please send me a request and I will gladly accept. And then that way you'll stay up to date on all the goings on of the Tom Cart's main event. Thanks again, folks. I hope all you guys out there have a Merry Christmas. And you guys be safe. Have a great week next week. If you're traveling, please be careful. Remember, keep your get-togethers small. You don't need me to give you a sermon, but please, for God's sake, be smart. It's Christmas season, man. Let's get through this thing, okay? So we can get back to life as normal, or at least try to. I'm out of here, baby. Thanks again for watching and subscribing, downloading, listening, and all that great stuff. Thanks again, kids. We'll see you next time. Tom Clark's main event. Ho, 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 baby.